A very warm welcome to all the participants. We are excited to begin today's session, which promises to bring new perspectives and practical insights into the world of innovation. This session will be on business model canvas and it will be taken by respected Rajiv Goswami sir, who has led key leadership roles across well-known organizations. He was formerly the assistant vice president at Usha International, a part of Shriram Group. He also served as the deputy director general at the Federation of Industries of Northeastern Region, where he worked closely with industries and policymakers. He has also contributed his expertise as a senior consultant at Northeast Consultants. In addition to these roles, he actively supports innovation and development as a mentor and resource person at IIT Guwahati Research Park, ICCO Foundation, Northeastern Handicrafts and Handlooms Development Corporation, and the World Bank supported Assam Agribusiness and Rural Transformation Project. His work reflects a strong commitment to industry growth, entrepreneurship, and regional development. We are happy to have you, sir. I now invite Pranjal, sir, to welcome and felicitate Rajiv Goswami, sir, with a Fulam Gamosa and a memento. Thank you, Pranjal, sir, for doing the honor. I am now handing it over to you, Speaker, sir. The stage is all yours.
Hello. I'm actually trying to see if I have any known faces. So, because I keep going to various sessions and we bump into each other. Anyway, very good afternoon. Uh, Post lunch sessions are normally difficult. In fact, those of you who have had some rice and curry and all that may have to struggle a bit to keep awake. Anyway, we'll try. That's why I tried to make the session very simple instead of going into too much of jargonism and calculations and all that stuff. I basically come from a corporate background, so most of my learnings, in addition to the academic learnings, come from actually on the job kind of situation, because I I joined the company as a management trainee and retired as a vice president. So it was a long innings in different parts of the country, in different verticals, different products, different verticals. And finally, of course, I was working out of Calcutta to look after the Eastern India. So diversity in uh, customers, diversity in our franchises. You take a 20 minutes flight from here to Agartala, the whole profile is different. So you have to unlearn first and then try to learn there. So all my learnings, if I can say that, are basically from practical interactions with people across Jharkhand, Bihar, Orissa, West Bengal, and Northeast. Okay, so I will try to make it. You see, the idea of it's a very good idea. This is a first time that I'm addressing a group of faculties. I'm sure all of you are faculties. Most of them or all of them? All of us. That's very good, because in the corporate world they call it train the trainer. Okay, so here it is called, I think, faculty development program. But basically, you are the person who will go back and take give hand holding support to your students or incubatees, whoever you're. So it is not important for you to get these concepts by heart or thoroughly. The idea is that when you go back with the same attitude, that that same sincerity and dedication is there among the group who you are teaching and hand holding. That's the most important part. So now, before we come to this business model, now that the ecosystem across the country, but let me talk about only Assam and Northeast. Is there anybody outside of Assam here? No. They are all from Assam only. Okay. So ecosystem has developed over the last, I think, 6-7 years. There is consciousness among people. There is financial institutions are coming forward. The government has come forward. So this is the right time for to get the early mover advantage, whoever is getting into entrepreneurship. But I have one point to mention, that when you, among your students, the groups of students, it is impractical to expect that 100% will be entrepreneurial mindset. Some of them will be, maybe because of family background, maybe because of exposure, whatever. But there are many who would look forward to doing a good corporate job. So idea is not to discourage them also. So for your consideration, if I may say, that a business head in a company, in a corporate world, is also an entrepreneur. The only difference between him and the pure entrepreneur is that this fellow does not put his own money into it. He is putting his shareholders' money into every plan and every venture. But one big similarity between an entrepreneur and a business head or a business manager is that both of them must have a vision. And a vision is basically what is a long-term, what do you like to be. Let's say a business manager may think that, look, in my product, I'd like to take 5% of the market share in the next 5 years. Similarly, an entrepreneur may think that in the next 5 years' time, I would like to offer entire range of, food products to the population. I may start with 1 or 2, but then over a period of 5 years, my whole basket will be full of products which will cater to their needs in terms of food and snacks and other things. If you go by companies like Repose, when they started in a very humble manner, just selling bread and things like that. Today they have a huge basket of products. So the vision must have been there at some point for both. And then comes the mission. Mission is shorter term, that, okay, you would like to do X amount of turnover in the next 2 years. It is very targeted. It is not subjective. It is targeted with the facts and figures, which you would like to achieve in a particular shorter period of time. So in both the cases, the risk factor is there. There is a risk of failure for entrepreneurs, where he might lose all his money. There is a risk factor for the business head, where he might lose his job if he doesn't fulfill the targets. So there is a risk factor in both. So the idea is that when you're talking about a business model, a model is basically, let's say, what is the IPL cricket tournament model? The model is that there is a franchise, they buy certain on in an auction players, then these franchises compete with each other. There is a league portion of it where they accumulate points, and finally the top 4 point holders will go into the semi-finals and finals, and there'll be a winner. So that is the model. It does not say that if you win this you will get 2 points, if you lose this. The basic model is the structure. But out of this model you will have a business plan. Okay, normally it is in companies it is called AOP, annual operations plan, which will be having components of finance, pricing, inventory control, promotional activities, distribution setup, and finally the targets to be achieved. So similarly, an entrepreneur also will have his own business plans. So after this, I think they are organizing some kind of a session in which you will fill up a certain chart where you will put your own ideas of how to go about in a particular industry, in a particular product. So we'll come to that. When we come to that, we'll see if you have questions, we can interact. Definitely would like to help you out. Now, we have talked about the vision, which is long term. We have talked about the mission, which is shorter term. And the business plan evolves around that mission. Okay, it will be in specific numbers. As I already mentioned, business head and entrepreneur both have gains and risks, both have a mission to fulfill. Now, why is a business model required? I mean, you can just say that, okay, I'll put in 5 lakh rupees and I'll give it out in the market. We'll sell. If profit comes, fine. Why do you need a model? Why do you need a structured model? Because there are two advantages. One is the whole team in that entrepreneurial setup. It may be one proprietor with 2 partners, or it may be a combination of 3-4 people. Everybody knows what to do. If we are talking about customer relationship, if it is there in the chart that for customer relation we will do X, Y, Z things, that is known to everybody in the team. You don't have to repeatedly keep on telling them that this is what we are going to do. Second is to reduce the chances of failure. You see, you can make a mistake once and learn from it and correct it. You can't make repeated mistakes if you're in business, because you can't keep on losing money every time you make a mistake. So if you have decided on a path which have to be followed, it will reduce your chances of failure. This is the second advantage of having a business model. Now, this is a small quote from, you can see that, no? All of you can see this? Yeah. This is Hoffman, who is the founder of LinkedIn. He says that, look, companies and entrepreneurs spend so much of time in nitty-gritty details. Where will my office be? How the sitting arrangement will take place? From whom I will, take my raw materials, at what price? So much of nitty-gritty details you go into, but you lose the broader picture. And the broader picture is very simple, that you are in business. Okay? And business is simply about earning money by acquiring and serving customers. So that is the golden rule. Whether you are a tech company, whether you're a food processing company, whatever. Ultimately, end of the day, your business has to make money, has to make profits if you have to survive. Okay. Second quote, which is very widely used by Japanese entrepreneurs, they say that don't lose the forest by looking for the tree. Meaning, don't spend too much of energy in minute details and having lost the bigger picture of the whole market, of the whole business environment, which means don't lose focus on the goal. Goal should be profits, revenues, and survival, and being competitive in the market. So these are the large goals. Okay. I think now we are talking about canvas. A canvas is a simple chart. I think it has been given to you. And we'll in the no, you can give them later. I can give them later, because let me go through all the components, then it will be easier for them to. It's basically a one-page chart where all the components, basically 9 components of a business model will be there, and in each one you will have to decide and fill up for a particular industry. What do you want to do? What will your company be doing as a model? Once that is done, it's easier to transfer them into specific business plans with targets, with timelines, and execute. So basically, there are 9 components which a business model will have. And these components are customer segments, the value proposition. We'll come to each one separately. I'm just summarizing it in this particular sheet. Channels, customer relationships. Can I have a glass of water here? Customer relationships, the revenue streams, key resources, key activities. Thank you. Thank you. Key activities, key partners, and finally, but not the least, is cost. Okay. So let's come to the first one, customer segments. Now, when you say a customer, it is the most, sometimes you are the customer when you go to buy something, and sometimes you are the seller because you are trying to sell something. And if you think as a buyer, when you go to a shop, your purchase preference will be based on many things: your family background, the way you've been brought up, your education, your exposure to rest of the world, things like that. So it is very important that you don't start off with a product where you don't know who is going to be the buyer. It's very important, first of all, to know who is the customer. Who are you targeting? Is it men? Is it women? Is it children? Or is it a universal customer base where everybody buys your product? So, and then why should they buy your products? That will, of course, be covered by your offering, which we are saying. I think we'll come to that next. Now, how do you find out this? Who is your customer? It is, you can just sit down and guess, oh, no, these guys will buy my product. That kind of guy will. Actually, there was a time when, it was a supplier-dominated market position. Whatever you want to sell, it sells. Because customers have had very little choices. Today, it is not so. If you go to the market, every second shop will have a new brand, a different product. So there are a huge choice available to the customer buyer. So how do you know who are your customers? One, is very important factor is that you need the support of market research organizations. It may sound very big, but frankly, it can be simplified. Unfortunately, in Assam, or rather Northeast, I have not come across any firm which is specializing in market research. When you say research, basically it's a question of collecting of data from different markets, collating them, and then finalizing a report to you saying that this kind of a product is preferred by women, this kind of products preferred universally by everybody, this kind of a product is preferable in Upper Assam, this will be available in preferable in Meghalaya or Shillong, whatever. So that report, final report, will have all these details. So you will know from that. Now, for a starter, for an entrepreneur starter, it may be very expensive at times to engage market research companies. They may charge very heavy amount of money. So there are other options available. You can put a questionnaire in your website where the customer feedback comes. You can have an app developed where people will put in their preferences. You can have mass contact, customer contact programs going into ladies clubs, schools, various industries and chambers of commerce, etc., etc. And over a period of 3 to 4 months, you have some amount of data. The idea is, it is not preferable, it is not advisable to start launching a product without knowing who that final customer is, because your entire advertising, your pricing, your distribution strategy will depend on the profile of the buyer, the customer. That's why I'm saying it is customer segmentation is very important. Now next we come to, am I making any sense? Please, if there, okay, I'm not trying to make it any complicated. Next is a value proposition. Okay. See, a value for the seller is the price of the product. Okay. I'm selling something worth of 2200. It has a 10% margin inside it. My cost was 2000. I made a margin of 200 bucks. So for me, the turnover value is 2200. But the customer value for a customer is very different. It will depend on what kind of need are you fulfilling. Is it a very high priority need, or is it just a low involvement product? Over a period of time, you will find that we have many startups I've come across. They're trying to solve certain problems which as regulars we are facing on a day-to-day basis. So the startup comes out with an idea that you have a problem. I was talking to somebody. There was a guy called Saurav Sharma. He was an engineer from Tezpur University. When I was in Finer, we used to do a lot of hand-holding for him. And he came out with an idea that, on the street corners, you find those puchka, which you dip and you eat. And he said that, look, the time taken is too much. The hygiene is not guaranteed. So he came out, he made a machine where raw materials are put inside and it is processed and the puchkas come out in big batches. It's still under development. I think he's even gone to China to get the thing made. The idea is he is trying to solve a problem of customer waiting for his product, his or her product to come out. Second is the question of customers' fear of hygiene, whether it is clean or unhealthy or whatever it is. So he's trying to solve a particular problem. So your product offering, uh, when you're communicating, you'll find all the ads where they always make a statement that uh, even for people like Make My Trip or other travel tourism companies, they try to make it. They give you an assurance that these are your problems. This is how I'm solving it. Now that becomes for you a value. The very fact that the product or service is solving an issue, solving a problem which you are facing. There is a startup here in Guwahati. He's an IT person. He is managing parking facilities in San Francisco. Okay, meaning he has an app. You just say that, look, I'm going at so and so place to so and so market in San Francisco, and he'll find out at what time, what space is available, and he'll guide you accordingly. So he's sitting here only. So he's solving a problem. So the idea of value for a customer is, what does he get out of your product or your service? What does he get? Price is important, yes. The price, the customer always compares. If you're offering this at 2,000, is there anyone else who is giving at 1,800? That part is there. That is a idea of competition. So, are we clear on the value proposition? Yeah. Meaning the customer must go home, having bought it, your product or service, must go home and say that, ठीक है, मैंने 5,000 में लिया है, it is worth it. That's why you find a lot of companies have the habit system of calling you after you bought and gone, calling you, are you happy with the product? Those are basically called happy calls. But basically they're trying to find out whether that person has gone home, talked to 2-3 other people. They say, ये क्या खरीद के लाए हो यार, उल्लू बनाया तुमको, 5,000 रुपया में लेकर के आए हो. So then the customer dissonance takes place. Have I made a mistake? Have I bought the wrong stuff? So in order to avoid that, the interaction continues in the relationship. So next to value proposition, we talk about another very important aspect, because once you know your market, your customer, your value proposition, everything is fine. But there is a concept now, everybody says go to market, GTM. I think you must have done that session here. I'm not sure. Somebody was to do that session here on go to market. Go to market is basically, how are you going to be closest placed to the buyer, to the consumer? Closest, meaning your product placement will be the closest to the customer in terms of communication, in terms of placing the product. So this is basically boils around distribution strategy. How are you going to distribute your place your products? There are basically a couple of options. One is that you go through distributors. You have a distributor in, say, Guwahati, and you tell him, my product you distribute among small retailers throughout the city. That is one way of doing it. Another is that you appoint direct dealers, direct retailers. Let's say you have 20 dealers, 20 retail counters in Guwahati, who you will be billing directly to them. And the third is, of course, a mix of both. You may have a distributor in Maligaon and have 2-3 dealers in retailers in Dispur market. So there is a mixed model also. Now each one has its own advantage and disadvantage. If we go through that, it will take a long time. But let me tell you, if you appoint a distributor, he becomes a king, because all your eggs are in his basket. Anytime he wants to, kind of put you in trouble, he'll say, नहीं market में sale नहीं है, मेरा stock भरा हुआ है, मैं और नहीं ले सकता. So you have no option. You have to do hands up. But if you have direct dealers, let's say 20, 25 counters in Guwahati, this month you feed 10 of them, next month you feed 5 of them, next month you feed another 5 of them, your chakka does not jam. You continue to do your billings. Their only problem is your coverage. You need more salesperson. You need to cover them repeatedly, go there, training their staff, selling staff, and all that stuff. But you have the liberty of uh, maintaining uh, showcases in 20 different places. Your people, your customers walk around and they see your products here also, Pan Bazaar also, Fancy Bazaar also, Maligaon also. So your visibility becomes more. So this is another option. And third is, of course, as I said, is a mixture of both. Now, these days, if you see all the big success stories, one is the online sales. Like Amazon and Flipkart and all these companies, which is called click. You click and sell, and there a problem arises, which we also found in my previous company, that supposing you have a dealer in Pan Bazaar with your products, and you have the same products online available, so people click and they get it from courier. So next time you go to the dealer, he says, "Aapne dealer bana ke rakha hua hai aur everybody is buying from ऑनलाइन बेसिस, यहाँ आता है, आपका प्रोडक्ट देखता है, जाके फिर वेबसाइट से ले लेता है. Why are you keeping us?" So in order to avoid that conflict, many companies are today combining, which is called a click and brick combination, which is you order on the website, but delivery will happen at the retail counter. That way it serves both the purposes. Your dealer is also happy because he has footfalls, he can sell some other products. Same time, the customer can have a touch and feel of the product. You can see, for example, shoes. If you're buying shoes online, you will always be a little hesitant ki fit hoga ki nahi hoga, unless you wear it and walk it and all that. So this combination of brick and click is now very popular. And of course, the other one, which is the model of Amazon, where the courier comes and delivers to you. Even they take it back. If there is a misfit or you're not happy with the product, they can take it back, which is so. When you talk about channels, as I said, there can be distributor, there can be a dealer, there can be online sales.
So, here I have a question.
Yeah.
Is CNF a kind of channel of distribution?
Sorry?
CNF, carrying and forwarding agent?
Yeah, CNF is you can call him a super distributor. Okay? Because he is above, he's just next to the company. He is holding stocks on behalf of the company in his godown, and he gets the company's sales force goes around collecting orders, gives it to his godown, that is executed, and the bills, invoices, everything for the month he uploads in the system, and he gets his commission. Many companies, very large companies, are having CNF arrangements. Okay, so it is actually more of a logistics angle, because he doesn't do any selling for you. सेलिंग तो आप ही को करना पड़ेगा, आपका सेल्स फोर्स को करना पड़ेगा.
CNF is a link between the company and distributor.
Yes, it is. It's as good as you can't have a godown in every town. It's not possible for a company to have a godown here in Guwahati, one in Jorhat, one in Dibrugarh. Your cost of operation will be huge. So it's better that you appoint a CNF who will carry your stocks, execute your orders collected by your sales staff, and give him a commission of 2% or whatever it is.
And one more channel I have had from previous time was CSD, Scanning Store Department.
CSDs are actually something like, we used to sell hell of a lot to CSD. And you'll be surprised. Do you know that their head office is called Adelphi in Bombay, and you have to get your product approved uh, once in 3 years. Okay, and their turnover is 50,000 crores in a year. So many companies put together will not match that, and their product diversity is just like anything. I mean, you can call about appliances, electrical goods, alcohol. I think nowadays they also started selling medicines. So CSD is a you can call him a dealer, okay, because they buy directly from you. You cannot give him through distributor or anything. Because CSD prices are the lowest.
And they mainly sell it to the defense power, defense.
They have got unit canteens. Okay, every unit canteen is based in CRPF camp, BSF camp, Army camp. So these unit canteens once a week come with their gari, take their materials, and go back. Every next week, this fellow will again come, draw his stock, and CSD maintains a record of what they call denials. Now, a denial is basically, supposing you're a unit canteen fellow, you come to me, you said, "मुझे ये product चाहिए." Out of 5, he says, "3 तो है नहीं." So बाकी 2 आप लेके चले गए. Those 3, he will put it in denials. Okay, so the denial will form the next bulk of order which he will place on the company, because they are being demanded, but we are unable to supply. CSD is a very, although the prices are low, but you'll find all big companies are operating there. There is one in Narangi. If you wish, you can go and see their way of functioning. It's a good question. Anyway, it is an institutional sales segment actually. Companies take it as an institutional sales, like they call it commercial bulk buyers. Some companies call it institutional sales. Some call it defense sales. But basically, it is the CSD. Okay. Now, next, let's talk about customer relationships. Now, relationship, as I said earlier, once you know the customer's needs, you have fulfilled those needs by giving them the right product. But the factor of trust, this one word, trust, is something which will establish a relationship between you, meaning the brand, and the buyer, and the company, and the customer. Now, how does that trust come? The trust will come from one simple sentence, which is always promise to deliver what you can. But when you deliver, try to give more than what you promised. I'll give you a small example. Supposing an air conditioner in your bedroom breaks down, it's not working. You call, let's say, Samsung or whoever the brand is, and say कि मेरा AC खराब है, किसी को भेजो इसको ठीक कराओ. He'd say, "Yeah, I am diverting your call to my service engineer." Now the service engineer will log that complaint, and if he is responsible and if he wants to establish trust, he will tell the customer, "Sir, this is season time. Please give me 48 hours time." Okay. Within 48 hours, my person will go, check the item, rectify it, you will be happy. And then he mobilizes his people in such a way that instead of 48 hours, he does it in 24 hours. Okay, which means you deliver more than what you promised. Now you can imagine the delight of the customer. कि आपने 48 hours बोला था लेकिन 24 घंटा में कर दिया. I'm damn happy. Now that customer is very unlikely to switch brands next time he buys something, appliance, big appliance. In the reverse position, if you see, there are many of such parties in the market. जैसे अभी तुरंत हो जाएगा जी, शाम तक करा देता हूँ. Okay, and second day goes, third day goes, and fellow never turns up. And you can imagine during those 2 days, you have mentally already killed that brand. कि इससे इस बार ही कराऊं, इसके बाद I will never go for this product. Now this is what is trust. You look at American President Trump. You know, at the time of his swearing in as a US president, he says, Ukraine war, I will finish in 24 hours. Just 24 hours, I'll get a deal signed. But today it is in the 4th month. And today he says, कि ये लोगों को नहीं चाहिए तो मैं तो I'm leaving. Let them sort it out. Now, can you think those who voted him on trust, is he going to maintain that trust? I don't think so. So the days of, you know, जैसे वो खट्टा आम बोलते हैं ना हिंदी में, those days are over of, you know, kind of bullshitting your buyers and making false promises. You just can't do it. So deliver more than what you have promised, but promise only what you can deliver, which is possibly. So that trust factor, on that you kind of build, you nurture, and then you grow. Your buyers will make you grow, because every satisfied customer is equal to 10 advertisements that you say put on the TV or hoardings or whatever. Because he'll, in the evening when he sits with his friend, he'll say, "मैं लिया था यार Samsung का AC, what service, what fantastic service." Now his word of mouth spreads, and it escalates, it doubles, multiplies, and that is how your trust and your building of your, you know, that aura about your brand happens. And this has to be backed by two things. You know, your communications. How are you communicating your promises to the buyers, to the customers? The promises meaning, yesterday I saw a TV ad that Rapido is saying taxi in 5 minutes. Now, I hope it happens. And I don't know, maybe in Guwahati it might happen, but in a place like Calcutta or Bombay or any other big metro, to promise that your taxi will be available within 5 minutes of your, you know, putting on the tab, I think it's a very tall promise. And if they can't match it, their trust is gone. So anyway, they have communicated it through TV ads with big movie stars and this and that. So let's see how it goes. Through social media, of course, social media is now, I think, a child's play. I mean, there was a time when we used to think that किसी का website है, किसी का internet है, तो he was high tech. But nowadays, if you talk to any small child, he wants to know the meaning of any word, he will Google it. He will just come to know. He might tell you that, "Dad, you are wrong. This is not the meaning. Meaning is this." So that is the way social media has evolved. So it's very easy for you to place your communication, honest communication, on the social media, which will reach in seconds to your prospective buyers. The second one is very POS, meaning point of sales. Okay. Now, very often what happens is that when you go to a shop, you find the shop salesperson. Some are very active. "Sir, please come. What would you like to see?" He'll show you all the models. He'll give you the prices. Then he'll say, "There is an offer, incentive offer on this. Because of this, the offer will be valid for 15 days. And then you ask, "What is the service backup?" He'll say, "Sir, हमारा service ऐसे होते हैं." Everything. In 5 minutes time, he will tell you everything. He'll show you everything. Go to another counter, and you'll find that salesman is sitting and giving you a look as if, you know, you are a botheration for him. अच्छा क्या देखना आपको? वो है उधर है, देख लीजिए. You know, your first impression is not of the salesman. Your first impression is of the brand. if it is a Bajaj or Crompton or whatever, you say, "Kaisa log rakhe hue hain ye log?" Immediately your anti-brand feeling starts coming. So what we used to do in our company at that time, we used to have sales staff training programs. Not our sales staff. I'm talking about the dealers' sales staff. Not only training programs, we used to give incentives to them. कि अगर आपका conversion rate, meaning 10 people have come into your counter and 5 of them have bought my product and gone away, that guy gets an incentive, some prize or something. So that is how you merge training, educating, and rewarding him for a good work. So that customer relationship building at the shop floor is very, very important. Whether it is a restaurant, even in restaurant, you will find that in some places they'll आपको menu पकड़ा दिया और चला गया आदमी, and you are waiting, nobody has turned up, and you're very annoyed कि आया तो था खाने के लिए. Then the menu will have 100 items. You'll say ये है नहीं है सब, ये है नहीं है सब, इसे आपने प्रिंट क्यों किया इसमें, वो तो मालिक को पूछे. So these are the kind of attitudes which ruin a business. So that is why we are saying customer relations is twofold. One is how you communicate, what you communicate honestly, and second, at the point of sale interaction, how you handle that guy. Relationship starts from there. Okay. Now, in relationship, I think I did not include it here, but there are various loyalty programs also you have, which is that nowadays when you go and buy something and you put a card, swipe your card, and then somebody will come and ask you, "Sir, what is your birthday? What is your wife's birthday? What is your kid's birthday or anniversary, this, that." Sometimes they give a form also to fill up. The idea is that they're making a data bank so that on every anniversary, on every birthday of either you or any family member, some card will be posted to you. It may not be a card nowadays, a WhatsApp message will come to you saying that, many happy returns. So they try to keep that bond going. Even if you have not bought anything from them for last 3 months, that they will try to activate that bond of relationship between the buyer and the seller. So that is something which in relationship building is critical. All right, now I don't know how much time we have, Pranjal. Half an hour? Now we come to revenue streams. Revenue stream is what basically, how does the money come into your pocket? Pocket meaning into a bank account or your cash box or your. Now basically broadly, very broadly, there are two categories. One is a transactional revenue stream, which means you sell, you get the money. You may get it through Google Pay or whatever, internet or whatever, but the moment you effect the sale, you get the money. That is transactional. Every transaction is followed by receipt of money. The other one is a subscription model, which is nowadays very popular. Which is that, let's say you take an Airtel connection. Just ever fill up guideline to him, because I think they will be able to do it. But what are the industries they are suggesting? That I had given 4 cases.
Okay, sir.
One was I think food processing, another was toys, another So subscription model is you pay a membership fees kind of thing. Let's say you become a member of, let's say Club Mahindra has a subscription model where you pay money for the whole year, and you can go and occupy their resorts in various places. So there is absolutely no risk for the company to lose money. You already paid. It's only a question of giving you the proper service which they had committed, which normally they do if they're, because you will not renew it. The big advantage of subscription model is that the moment you renew it, they know very well that you have served him well. You have scored 100 marks in your customer relationship. Otherwise, he would not have renewed. He would have gone somewhere else. So, similarly for health insurance packages nowadays, with Aditya Birla and Bajaj and everybody else, I would not call it subscription, but by and large, मोटा मोटी ऐसा ही है कि साल में एक बार दे दिया, and then you renew it next year, because you are bound by so many laws that you can't change the brand also up to 3 years. If you change, then you lose many benefits and things like that. So subscription model for many startups who I have met in the last maybe 1 year in Assam have gone for subscription model of their product or service. It is more applicable in terms of service, whether it is IT backed or whether it is, physical selling or whatever it is. But if you are providing a service, it's similarly with your maintenance contracts for air conditioners and Eureka Forbes water purifiers and things like that. Those are basically subscription models. Okay, so these are the two broad categories. Now we come to key resources. Now resources are basically two types. One is a physical resource, and the second is, we call it, maybe you can call it virtual resource. Okay, let's say your brand registered under IPR as X. That is your asset. In fact, there are many companies today whose brand value is much more than their turnovers. The valuation, of course, procedure is there, how to do it. At one time, even my own earlier company, Usha International, where I think it's a 130-year-old brand, and one American company was asked to do valuation. They finally gave a report that if you were to sell only the brand today in the market, you will make much more money than selling the whole company. That is the way, because it is connected with trust of the market, product range, dealership network, many other things. So the brand is your asset, which is, I think, surpasses all other assets, even your bank balances. So to service the brand, to look after the brand, to make it attractive, just think of a brand like Amul, for example, today. If they launch any new product, whether it is an ice cream or a cheese or whatever, you don't think twice before buying it, because you have that much confidence in that particular brand कि इनका प्रोडक्ट जो है वो घटिया हो ही नहीं सकता. It will be a good one. Similarly with Tatas, if Tatas come out with something today, they are from salt to aeroplane to semiconductors, anything. But the moment you hear the brand Tata, your first thought in your mind is that it's a reliable brand. I can rely on it. I can invest in it. So brand, as I said, is the strongest resource that you have. And the physical assets will include, of course, your factories, your offices, showrooms, godowns, your finances, meaning your bankers who are